Welcome to Conversations and Opinions. I'm Clorissa.
I'm Shae.
I'm Caronica.
And I'm Tarvis. Today we will be discussing connection or intimacy. Do you need that when you're having sexual intercourse? And the reason why I want to talk about this today, because there's a series on Netflix called Sex Life. So it was about a young lady who would journal her past sexual encounters, and she was married, and her husband started to read the actual journaling she was doing, and then he started to try to reenact those things. So do you need to be connected to someone? Do you have to have some sort of intimacy prior to, the physical act? What do you guys think?
I think it depends.
Did you see how she said it? I think it depends.
Yes.
What does that mean?
I mean, it's just the fact it depends on.
Wait. Your voice is just so sultry right now. But go ahead. No, don't be ashamed.
Anyway, so it depends if you're in a relationship with somebody or if you're doing some type of playing out of like little roles, or it just depends on the situation. Like sometimes you want that, cuddling and touching and feeling, and sometimes you just want to go in. So it just depends on if you need that connection of that intimacy or that that extra stuff that goes along with the sex.
Wow. Yeah. You said sometimes, because I want to cuddle all the time. But go ahead. Who up next?
That's the love language. But I think
yes,
that
it is.
I think they go together. Connection
and intimacy.
I think it kind of goes together. So I think you need a little bit, especially, I guess we'll get into that, when you think about the movie Sex Life. It can be, you definitely need both. It just depends on, I guess, the person, what they need more, or what they're, what they want more. Because some people don't like the coloring and don't like all that extra stuff.
Right.
So I think it just depends on the person too.
So for myself, I will say that I prefer connection, but I've had experiences where there wasn't one, and it was still a great time.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So prefer, yes. Yeah, yes.
It's the best if you have it.
It is, but I have had, typically, I'm one of those people who I feel like, okay. let me get that smile a little smaller here. Okay. So I'm one of those people who feels like, oh, it's so fairy tale-ish to be in love and do all that. I felt previously that I had to have a connection to feel any type of intimacy with a person. But there was one experience in my life, one person who I had no regular like for, but happened upon an experience, and it was great. And I was stunned by myself because I thought in my head, oh, I could never have an encounter with anybody that I just didn't like. But I did, and it was really interesting, and I realized that you could have a great time without an intimate connection.
Yeah, and now that you said that, even though we're talking about Sex Life series, but you see those shows on Black Love, and you see the couples, and they talk about how it was no connection at first. Like, we had no connection. Like, I don't even know. I didn't think we were going to be together. And then they okay, well, let me try this again. Yeah. Even with Tabitha Brown, her husband, it seems like that sometimes the connection is not there, and it just builds up. So maybe the connection sometimes is not there instantly. But sometimes the connection is not there instantly. Like on Black Love, a lot of those couples didn't have the connection at first. Yeah. And they have 20 years of marriage and stuff like that. So I think it just depends.
I like variety. I just don't. I'm the type of person. I'm a Taurus, and you would think that I'm the same. I am definitely not that person. I love variety. I love to know that we can lie in the bed and do the nasty in the bedroom, but then we can go other places and do other things and pretend as if we don't even know each other. I like the fact that I could have the opportunity to experience different types of sexual experiences.
So you kind of have a similar thought that it's possible.
It's possible to be physically attracted to somebody, but not mentally attracted to somebody.
Okay.
1,000%.
Yeah. I agree
That's
with
what
that.
I'm
I
talking
agree.
about. That's exactly what I was referencing. Yeah.
Okay.
And then so you
Okay.
can have great sex with somebody that you are not mentally attracted to.
Yeah.
Cause that physical that'll do it for you. You know what I mean?
So does that mean it's now a booty call?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yes. But comment for yourself.
Yeah.
Comment for yourself.
My love language, as you said, Caronica, is I'm a touchy-feely person. And I have to have a intimate connection with you in order for me to do that.
Have to have or prefer?
Have to have, because
You've never had an experience with a
So you can't get stimulated.
I can't.
without the
No,
Oh,
and
wow.
when I asked about the booty call, it's because I can do a booty call after we have done that, and maybe we've broken up and I'm in between.
Oh.
But is there still a connection?
I mean, you can still, you don't prefer it, but you can't have it.
No, meaning, okay, so if I meet someone, I have to be mentally stimulated. I have to have some sort of, I don't want to say butterflies, but that connection.
Yeah, some sort of chemistry.
You
Yes,
need to be already
with
in love
somebody.
almost, right?
Sort of, kind of,
Yeah.
yeah.
I understand.
Yeah,
That's literally how I
because
felt too. Yeah.
To me, it's a different feeling. And then it allows you to be specific, or what's the word I'm looking for? Not have so many sexual partners, because I can count on
that's true.
one hand. Because when it starts to this, then I'm probably going to shut it down, and I'm just not, it's just too much for me.
Right.
Because
you don't have to have a lot of sexual partners to be.
But if you can do it without having a connection, then come on now. It's
more than connection. What I mean by connection, because the way I'm hearing you talk about connection is almost like you have past like.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Yes.
I'm saying that I can be getting to know somebody, or if I choose to take it to another level with that person on a physical level, because I am attracted to them on a more of a physical level, not necessarily mental yet. That's a different situation.
See, I'm about to be real vulnerable here. I've only had sex with people I've been in a relationship with.
Okay.
That it just wasn't. I mean, don't get me wrong, because I have a whole lot of physical attraction to handsome fellows. But if I'm not in a relationship with you, no.
See, when I'm thinking of it, I'm not thinking of it just as sex, because intimacy is just not sex.
Correct.
So I'm thinking of just like the connection more so, like just going any farther with you. Because I might not have a connection with you mentally, but I'm like, oh, he's nice looking. Like, my connection might move past me. Like, normally you in your mind, if you don't have a connection with somebody, you just move past them.
Yeah,
like, I'm not even.
So it's different types of connections. Because
it's the first encounter connection. Like when you first meet somebody, you don't know anything about them. You just know what they're giving you. So that's the first impression that you're getting from somebody. It could be that they're too conceited, or maybe they're just coming out too strong. But then if you give them another chance, you're like, oh, I was totally about to.
I was out.
You
didn't talk to me a second time. I would have never talked to you again.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's that first encounter, because sometimes your first encounter is no connection. And that's what a lot of people say.
Yeah.
Like it was no connection there. Like I thought that this person was
then
conceited, or was doing too much.
What you say, Shae?
I said I have to change my my idea of, because when we were talking about connection, I was talking more of more of a mental, because like a physical connection, I guess that's different than the mental. So I'm thinking more
attraction though.
That's what I'm saying. So it's more like I'm attracted to this person. Correct. I like being around this person. Okay, if I decide I wanted to be physical with this person, that's one thing.
Then I think you want to booty calls then, because
that's why I said.
Well, see, it's not necessarily because just because you are dating someone, that don't necessarily mean it's a booty call.
No, I'm saying that if you get to the point past the first couple of times, and you're like, oh, it's the second time. still nothing. The third time is still nothing. The fourth time is still nothing. And then you still choose to
be physical,
but you know you don't want any.
On a mental, still nothing?
Yeah, and you still choose to be physical, but you know there's nothing going to come out of this for you, at least.
At least you're informed.
Yeah,
so you do know that.
Right. So you're going forward just knowing that.
So, then it would be more of somebody you just attracted to and you just want to be with.
Yeah.
That's like I said, booty call. There's a difference here. Because we're going to switch gears a little bit, but on the same topic. In the series, like I was saying, she was married, but she kept fantasizing and reminiscing on the past relationship and their sexual encounters. But the strange thing to me...
she was obsessed.
Yes, she did not inform her husband. He just happened to watch the journaling. And then he started to try to recreate or be that different person. So in my mind, if you're still reminiscing and journaling, do you still have that strong connection with your husband at that point? Because why are you even thinking about the past if you're happily married? You know what I mean?
I think it's unrealistic to think that just because you are married that you don't ever think about anything that was fun before that.
It don't necessarily mean you
forget
or want to be with that person.
I didn't say forget. Because she was journaling.
Yeah, she was journaling.
She was journaling, not cheating. I mean, she could actually physically go act out the journal. So the journaling part may be just an outlet during a rough patch. I've only seen a few episodes of the show, so I don't have a full understanding of how the show ends or how the season ends. But I don't think it's crazy to.
But why would you? Again, you said you don't forget. Get that. But what's the purpose of journaling about that for the possibility of your husband to read it?
Well, he shouldn't have been reading her journal, first of all. But so that's the first thing.
But he shouldn't have been, but it was okay for her
to write it?
Okay.
Yeah, your journal is this your personal.
So if your husband had a journal and he was writing, and you happen to come on, you ain't gonna feel no type of way. Let's keep it 100.
But I'm saying that you're reading the.
No. Would you be mad? That's my question.
If I read it, that's why you're not supposed to read somebody's journal.
Okay, so
it's boundaries. That's what the difference is. We don't. Some people.
But it's not supposed to be any secrets in a marriage.
No.
Oh, it's not. Oh, then when you say girl, so I guess there is secrets in marriage.
She's human. She can't have no journal.
I'm not saying she's not human. I'm trying to figure it out.
You have your own thoughts, your own mind.
Yeah.
You
not saying
whether you say it out loud or you write it down, it's there. And so it's like you're thinking something right now. I have no idea what you're thinking, but she's writing it down in her journal. It's her thoughts.
It's her thoughts.
It doesn't go away because you're married to somebody that you don't think it. It's a difference between disrespectful. People have journals. I know people who write in the journal since they were little girls, and they keep their thoughts of everything that's happened in their life. So whether if she's mad at her husband, if she's doing something, or she's thinking something, or she's like whatever. Some people, those are your thoughts, and sometimes that keeps people sane.
Yeah.
And I'm not disagreeing with that, but I asked you. If you read your husband, you was like, yeah, if I read.
But if I read your journal and you said something about me in the journal, it's not based on you know how people read their kids' journal and they get mad.
Yeah, I get that. That's my whole point. She can have her thoughts. He can have his thoughts. My question was simply, would you get mad? And you said yes if I read it. So all my point is there secrets in a marriage? And you quickly said a girl.
Because you have your own thoughts. I don't understand how you don't see that part.
Okay, so look.
That part.
There are secrets in marriage. I'm gonna break this down into little pieces.
Please.
So if my husband had a journal and I read it and he was fantasizing, I wouldn't be mad.
Okay.
Period. Like, there is no reason for me to be upset when, like you said, people are human. It's unrealistic to think that I'm out here working every day and will never see a guy that I think is attractive.
Oh, without a doubt.
As a married woman. Am I thinking it in my head sometimes? Sure. Am I going home and saying, oh my God, I saw this fine dude today? No. Is that keeping a secret? No, it's not. My husband goes to the gym. He is always in the gym.
Okay.
And I've walked in the gym on times where he wasn't expecting me to be there. And I see them girls crowding around and I'm like, oh, hey. I don't even go over there and interrupt. Because doing his thing. He's living his life.
Right.
What am I mad about if he's writing about something that he previously experienced? It was a great time. All those experiences made you the guy who I married, and I am totally excited about everything you did that got you here doing all this great stuff to me. So I don't think it's crazy to have a journal. I don't think it's crazy to... Now, if the girl was obsessing in the series, then maybe it could be detrimental mentally somewhere else. But no, you can have a journal. Yeah.
Continue watching it, and then you'll understand my stand.
This is my thing. What I see watching this show, she's married to a man she really loves because he is everything she wants except for sexual.
What's the rule? The 80...
80-20?
Yeah, the 80-20 rule.
Okay.
He's everything she wants except for the sexual part of the relationship because he's very distant and he doesn't he's not exciting or adventurous. So she is reminiscing over things that was so exciting, and the sex with this guy she was with was amazing.
The guy who, the episode that I fast forwarded to,
yes.
At the gym.
And when I tell you,
shower scene, that guy,
they was doing was awesome. So
what was it, Shae?
It was awesome. So I just feel that it's nothing wrong with her journaling about past situations and all the exciting things because the truth is she was getting off on her own just by her having these journals. Even though her husband wasn't fulfilling her on another level, she was trying to. She wanted that feeling. She craved that feeling, but
that
she wasn't trying to go back to it in the beginning. You know, she was just basically thinking about it and writing it down and remembering and reminiscing.
Do you think it's impossible that your person that you're having sex with isn't fantasizing about something else some of the time they're having sex with you?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
So should they tell you that afterwards?
Do they tell what?
Well, should they tell you?
No, I don't want to know.
But as a secret.
Right. This is what we're the secret part. Yeah. There's no other way to put it.
No. You can I guess let me slow down because my thoughts are running.
Swirl it around.
No, I don't want to know if you're thinking about someone else. And if you're thinking about someone else, then maybe I'm not for you. And
really?
Why are we in this?
Tarvis, just because they're...
No, seriously, because if you're thinking about someone else, then to me, you have to think about that person to be intimate with me.
So you mad if you think about Janet Jackson?
What? What do you mean thinking about somebody while you having sex?
Yeah.
Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, while you're on ching.
Maybe not an
come on back
maybe
to
maybe I misunderstood what was said.
Yeah, maybe not an ex-girlfriend or something, but thinking about other people watch porn as couples to get excitement revved up. They love each other.
Because some people have different.
So what does a sex drive have to do with watching something for excitement to jazz things up or just to
do something?
But that ain't what I do. So I'm not knocking anybody who does that. You know what I mean? But that's not what I do. It just ain't.
So you're traditional Clorissa.
I ain't even traditional Clorissa.
Okay.
Traditional.
Tarvis, everything you have said is...
Just because I said it doesn't mean I'm traditional.
And just because the girl keeping a journal don't mean she hoeing.
Didn't say she was hoeing.
You said...
What did I say?
Secrets in a marriage and she shouldn't be doing it.
No, I said, is that a secret?
Do you think it is?
I think there should have been a conversation.
Now, if you're unfulfilled with this...
About what? Once she figured out he was reading it, it should have been a conversation.
Yeah, but before that, we're just talking about the part of her having a journal.
I never said she couldn't have a journal.
No, we're asking you.
You can have a journal.
Okay.
Anybody can have a journal. Yeah. I journal. Now, if you pick that mug up and read it, that's on you. Now, you can come to me. We can discuss it. But in this sex life, he was then trying to fulfill that sexual desire that she was journaling. So there was no conversation.
That's because he was, what I want to say, he felt inadequate about the fact that he wasn't giving her all of the things that she was journaling about.
It should have been a difficult conversation.
So wait, did you think, so since I haven't seen the show, forgive me, y'all, because I haven't seen all of it. But was his intent when he read the journal and found the information? Was his intent by acting it out? Was it a good intent, like from the way that the character is? Was he doing it maliciously, like I'll show her, or was he doing it?
It was a good intent at first, but it was anger behind the intent. Okay, because it was like I want to make my wife happy because you knew he loved her, but it was almost like. You know how you feel like you're doing a whole lot for your family? Yeah. I'm doing this, I'm doing this, I'm doing this. And then it's like, I'm still not enough. To be like, right, yeah. Right. So I think it was kind of like the anger part. You know that was his anger part of it. Okay. But the good intent was the fact that he was still trying to,
fulfill her.
Yeah. But I think it also was because he never knew nothing about her past life.
Exactly.
He thought she was Mary Jane, like she was, like he had no idea she was as freaky so lit as
because she didn't portray herself like that with him
at all.
Okay,
so he like, we on the same level. He thought they was on the same type of level. He had no idea she was on that.
So that's why I said
he was a level 3 and she was a level 2.
That's why I said it should have been a conversation when she realized it. The conversation was with her friend. So I'm like, why wouldn't you even talk to him? And I think that's where we fail when we don't want to have the difficult conversations. We're adults. At the end of the day, you're not going to like a lot of stuff that your partner says, but it's called conversation.
Well, communication keeps winning as the thing that, that avoids problems and situations.
I feel like she should have had a conversation. I don't feel like it was nothing wrong with her talking to her closest friend. Because her friend was actually trying to give her wake her up, like, hello.
Some sane advice.
Yeah, but I think that, because in her situation, it was that this past relationship, she was in love with this guy.
Correct.
So she's talking to her friends because this guy's coming back around, and she's like, okay, am I tripping? Like, am I really, like, what's going on? And her friend is giving her this thing. Now, she necessarily wouldn't go to her husband at that point. Now, if it was just the sex part, I definitely think once he read it, they both should have been like, okay, what's up? But, that didn't happen. But as far as her talking to her friend, I don't see anything wrong with that because her situation was a little bit past the sex part.
Okay.
It just wasn't sex. It was other.
I kind of question what her depth of in love or love was because I felt like she was more obsessed with this dude.
The old guy?
The old guy.
Okay.
I think what I got from her was because she would have wanted to have a relationship with him and stuff like that, but it wasn't unconditional. Like everything that
nothing's unconditional.
Husband, no, I know that, but I'm just saying, like everything that her husband is, she wanted him to be.
Correct. Okay.
But if he wasn't that at all, then she didn't want to be with him in a real life situation.
That's why I feel like she was in love with him because when
she was in love with who? Which one?
She was in love with her ex-boyfriend.
Mm-hmm. But she didn't want him unless he was
wait a minute. I get what you're saying. I totally agree. It's kind of like the conversations we've been having. She was in love with her ex, but he was not the man that she wanted.
Him to be.
He could not be that.
Right.
So she made a decision to walk away from that relationship.
Right.
Yes. And then she moved on and fell in love with somebody else.
Right.
Out of sight, out of mind.
Put a pin right there. So she made a choice, then why go back and journal about it?
Because your feelings don't go.
I'm just asking a question.
But these were like, what she was journaling about, you got to remember, she didn't tell her husband who she was.
Exactly.
She was she is.
Okay,
she suppressed everything who she was.
So did she lie about who she was just to get him?
No.
Okay, I'm just asking questions.
Nope. I think it wasn't what she was, who she was with that person. Because that person, the other person brought something different out of her that she liked.
Yes.
And
you're talking about her husband.
Her ex. Because when she first met him.
Now y'all don't even understand. Y'all keep talking about the ex. You're not talking about the husband, who she's married to, who she journaled.
No, I understand.
Okay, just check.
So Caronica told me something.
Okay.
After the 99,000th heartbreak I had in life, I said, I'm going to take some time. But she had repeatedly said this one thing to me. Clorissa, you talk too much. You say too much. And I'm like,
oh, I know where you're going.
I'm just being transparent. I'm just saying stuff. And I thought that the way I was doing things was being open and honest, but I took a page from my cousin's book because, I don't know if she implemented this for herself. Okay. I took the words that she said and applied them along with some of my own meditation and stuff that I got from my own thoughts. And I was like, okay, I'm going to take a year and not talk to anybody and not go on any dates and not do any of that stuff. Right. And in the marriage that I'm in now, it's a beautiful, amazing relationship. But I did things very differently in the beginning. Caronica was like, you said what? And I would tell her about previous dates. And she's like, why did you do that? I'm like, well, we were just talking. She was like, Clorissa, you're giving up too much information. They don't need to know that. Not being secretive, but why do you need to know that 10 years ago I fell down a flight of stairs or something like that? Right, I was just doing way too much. So this relationship, I curtailed a lot of unnecessary information. Was I myself? Yes. But did I give you all the baggage and all the sad crying and stuff that I did? No, I didn't bring all of that because this was a new experience. It was time for me to change because I didn't like any of the stuff I put up with before. So presenting my newly found self wasn't lying. Now, has he found out some of the stuff after the fact? Yes.
So put a pin right there. Because I, like you, they used to tell me the same thing. You tell your partner too much, T, but in my mind, I don't want nothing to blindside you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no.
So I don't want it to come up. And then now we at odds because you don't know.
No, not into information like that. Not vital information.
Things like that. But sometimes I feel like when you first date somebody and you really want to know the rape, this is just my opinion.
And you really want
to know the real person. Okay. You want to know how they're going to treat you.
Yeah.
When you start giving them all your past hurts and pains and stuff like that, it's like, if depending on what type of dude they are, they're like,
I'm turned off.
I can take advantage.
I can take advantage of her.
She told me.
And they start doing stuff. You're like, oh, he doing what you told him that you allowed in the past. And so it's like that's your past.
Yep.
How you was treated. You're not show them the woman you are now.
Yes.
And then y'all can talk about old relationships later. You know what I mean? But not when you first get in the beginning. They don't need to know all that. In my opinion, you don't need to know all that.
No, because there was some information that I didn't necessarily like. It wasn't terrible stuff because we're happy, but we both, after marriage, because we were both presenting a different version of ourselves because we were tired of what we had previously experienced with all the other situations. But after we got married, we were having these little nuggets and stuff dropped here and there. And I'm like, oh, if I would have known that. And he was like, if I would have known that. I'm like, oh, thank God we're here. We're already here. Okay. And even though they're small things, but in your mind, when you're going into something, if they did this, if they did that, I wouldn't talk to them.
You heard Shae just say that's the time.
Yeah.
Like, so you wouldn't, some people wouldn't even give a second date because it's like, oh, you let somebody do you like that?
Exactly.
Oh, you one of them. Like, some people have that in their mind.
If you're a woman who's been run over too many times.
But that's just, I disagree with that because it's just like people, and you can have your stipulations all you want. But that's just like saying, I don't date anybody because they have kids. And I'm just, again, we all grow. We all evolve. We all change at different stages in our lives. But at what point do you not just be open because you may be missing out on a good... But you said, no, that's a turnoff. But why would that be a turnoff? Because that's somebody's past.
It depends on... So, for me... If I'm on the phone with a guy that I don't know and I just met him, and he start telling me all of his bill situations, he start telling me every woman he smacked upside the head, every woman he's cheated on, every woman who's cheated on him, every woman who has given him different types of diseases. I don't.
Oh well, that's different, Shae.
But I'm just going. I'm trying to say those really things that as long as you good now, you shouldn't be telling people.
Yeah.
Like it's things that are, if you were a cheater, and that's your past, you don't do that anymore. Yeah. And I'm not saying you're not going to talk about that, but some people say stuff too, like, oh yeah, I was messing with this, I did this, I was all these negative things, and it's like,
but that was 10 years ago. So why am I saying that to you? Why are you
bringing up 10 years?
Because
or someone talking about their dead wife that's been gone for 15 years.
That in the sex life, that relationship was 8 years ago.
But she was in love with him.
And okay,
I'm just talking about information as a whole. It's not not just
the information is what we're talking about. But in her situation, this is what she was in love with him at one time. She chose. It was a choice to move on because it was not. And then she met another guy who was amazing, differently. And she fell in love with him, had a family. Mm-hmm. So she was in love with the other guy. I get why she probably was fantasizing about when he came back around. Because it was like, and then she was at a point in her life. She had 2 kids. She was going through. And then he came through in that moment. Mm-hmm. And it brought back up
Who came through?
The guy. He came back through within that time.
Ex-boyfriend.
And it brought back up memories because she was in love with him. Now, whether you agreed that the love wasn't perfect, he wasn't the right guy, he was what a lot of people have experienced before, a guy who just couldn't get it right, he act funny, he was gone, ghost for 2 days and come back, but she was in love with that man. But she moved on.
Not the husband.
So just because she made a choice to move on, don't mean she left him because she didn't leave him because she didn't love him. She left him because he wasn't doing
right, because it wasn't the man that she wanted.
And that makes a difference.
And on that note,
we're gonna need a part 2.
Yes.
We're gonna need a part 2.
We'd like for you guys to go out on Netflix and watch Sex Life. Then you'll get the gist of the conversation today. I hope this had sparked you in your relationships to tell, not tell, journal, not journal, or whatever. But as always, please subscribe, comment, like, and we definitely appreciate your support in watching Conversations and Opinions. See you next time. Bye. Bye.